If you don't know who I'm Chad Barker, your Sudoku professor. And my goal is to help you solve harder Sudoku faster with fewer mistakes. So today I want to ask you, what role does guessing and luck have in successfully solving Sudoku puzzles? Well, before I answer that and we get started here, if you want to solve harder Sudoku and you want to solve it faster with fewer mistakes, just head on over to solvemoresudoku.com. That's solvemoresudoku.com, and you can sign up today. Now, I want to say that people are always asking me about puzzles that require them to guess. And I got an email here from Robert M. I will keep him anonymous. He says, I have enjoyed the lessons, but still have this nagging doubt about those who publish puzzles that require guesswork for a solution. Attached is one from a local newspaper where I got stuck at least 2 times requiring a guess before proceeding. If you have a solution, please let me know. Well, I kind of equate guessing to luck. Okay, so guessing and luck kind of go hand in hand there. And the problem with guessing and luck is that it often leads to frustration when it comes to Sudoku. So, you spend all this time on a puzzle, and then if you have to guess and you guess wrong, then your puzzle's screwed up and you feel like you wasted all this time, and it can almost ruin your day. Okay, so now in most games, they have some sort of mixture between luck and strategy. Okay, some games are pure luck, and I'm reminded of these games that I played with the kids when they were little, called like Chutes and Ladders, and Sorry was the other one. Again, these are pure luck, and honestly, it was exasperating to me. I just eventually refused to play the games, because you were like getting close to winning, and then something would happen, the roll of the dice, and all of a sudden you're back to the beginning, or, whatever. You were set back considerably, and I was miserable. And what I realized is that the kids were not learning anything when I played these games. So I cut that out. But then some games that you play are all strategy, and they require no luck at all. And I think chess would fall into that category, unless you were to consider that who your opponent is as lucky or unlucky for you. But there's no luck involved in that, as far as I know. Other games require quite a bit of strategy, but they are at the core, it's all about the luck. So, and I think that casino games, gambling, pretty much, there's a lot of strategy, and there's a lot of things you need to know about these games. Not that I'm an expert at any of this stuff. I try and fail at this stuff all the time, but but at the core of the game is luck. But most other games require there's a kind of a good mix of luck and strategy. And so the question is Sudoku one of those? Now, before I answer that, though, let me mention real quick for those who may have missed at the beginning, if you want to learn to solve Sudoku faster and with fewer mistakes, head on over to solvemoresudoku.com. And remember, in spelling Sudoku, it's got 2 U's and 1 O, and the O goes in the middle. Okay, so make sure you spell it right. Okay. So about 10 years ago, my youngest son wanted to start playing some role-playing games and other complex games. I guess he graduated from Chutes and Ladders and Sorry a bit early in life. So, but role-playing games, probably the most famous or maybe infamous of those is Dungeons and Dragons. But there's plenty of others. There's lots of other games that are of that nature, and these games are kind of a mix between luck and strategy. And so we started joining in on these games at the local game store, and these rules for these games are really complex. They could have rule books that are like this thick, and I remember joining in on these games and really not knowing what was going on. They explained the rules from a high level, but I was like a deer in the headlights. And when it was my turn to do something, I really felt like I was guessing. And in those games, it's like there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer, but there's definitely a lot of strategy. But that strategy takes a long time to learn. I mean, because again, there's so many rules, there's so many ways to do things. You have to have a lot of experience. So for starting out and for quite a while, I didn't really understand the rules, and I certainly didn't understand the strategies. I didn't even know what was really important and what was not important. So I'm just I'm just guessing. And so the only real way I was going to win those games against all these other people that had more experience was by sheer luck. And unfortunately, though, when it comes to Sudoku isn't that forgiving, because there is really one right answer, and anything else is wrong, right? I mean, if you guess, you could still win, but it would be by sheer luck. And if you're guessing, then if you do that regularly, you're probably wrong more often than you're right. Now, remember how Robert, at the beginning that I told you about, I read his email. He said he was blaming the newspaper, or the puzzle maker, if you will, for creating a puzzle that required him to guess. But the fact of the matter is that he just needed to learn the techniques and strategies required to solve it without guessing. Now, I solved the puzzle. He sent the puzzle to me, and I actually solved it. And it turns out that it was a fairly easy puzzle. It was probably freshman to sophomore level. It really wasn't that. So, Sudoku professor, I have lessons and techniques at the freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior level, as you might expect. And it was really kind of, freshman, sophomore techniques at best that solved the puzzle. It really wasn't that complex at all. Well, let me state this first. I'll just say this, just as an aside here. There might be the rare occasion that you come across a puzzle maker, and that puzzle maker is indeed creating puzzles that absolutely require you to guess, or even the most experienced players would need to guess in order to solve. But it's actually fairly rare that happens, that there's a lot of good opportunities out there, because if you find a puzzle maker that really is requiring the best players to or the most experienced players to guess, then probably you need to find a different source. And there's a lot of sources out there, a lot of good sources for puzzles out there. The bottom line is that there's no reason for you to guess or to rely on luck to solve. I mean, it's a logic puzzle. You just need to understand the logic and learn the techniques and dig into that information. So here's the thing. When you really believe that the information that you need to solve the puzzle is right there on the puzzle, then it kind of creates this mental shift in your mind. And it kind of opens the door to learning the logic strategies, and that enables you to successfully solve lots of Sudoku puzzles. So what happens when you actually guess? Okay, well, I kind of equate it to you're like in a car and you're at an intersection, and it's not just a crossroads. I mean, there's like 10 or 15 different roads that you could take from where you are right now. That's where you're stuck. It's not really like a dead end. It's all these different paths that you could take, and you don't know which one to do. And what happens is that when you guess, it's kind of like you just put the car in neutral, and then you just let gravity take over, and you drift out in an intersection and see where the road takes you, which one you wind up on. But when you refuse to guess, this is the interesting thing, and you believe that the information that you need is on the puzzle, what happens is you put your brain back into drive, and you actively start looking for the correct road to get you to your destination, which is the solution to the puzzle. So the bottom line here is to stop guessing. I mean, look, okay, I know you get stumped, okay, and I know it can be very frustrating, but honestly, a messed up puzzle is much worse than just a puzzle that you couldn't finish. In Sudoku, luck has nothing to do with it. So it's what you got to do is learn the strategies. And I can honestly guarantee that when you do that, you will have a huge amount of success. So if you are really serious about improving your game and getting better at Sudoku, solving more puzzles, solving harder puzzles, and solving them faster, then head on over to solvemoresudoku.com, and sign up. I got free lessons there. And thanks for joining in. And post your questions down below so that I can answer what the questions that you have. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.